Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. NDA announces Bihar governor and senior BJP leader Ram Nath Kovind as its presidential candidate. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Kovind will make an exceptional president. Apprises Sonia Gandhi and Manmohan Singh of choice. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley chairs 17th GST meeting that clears 6 sets of rules, assures nationwide rollout of goods and services tax will take place on July 1st. Gorkha Janmukti Morcha shutdown enters 8th day. Security forces on high alert and internet services suspended as Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee urges parties to attend Thursday's all-party meeting on the situation. And Brexit Secretary David Davis arrives in Brussels to launch talks on Brexit. EU's chief negotiator Michel Barnier says he is aiming for a positive and constructive tone in the talks and hopes to end uncertainty on the process. Well, the National Democratic Alliance on Monday announced Bihar Governor Ram Nath Kovind as its candidate for the upcoming presidential polls. The decision was taken at the BJP Parliamentary Board meeting in New Delhi. Welcoming the announcement, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Kovind will make an exceptional president and his understanding of the constitution will benefit the nation.
Bihar Governor and senior BJP leader Ram Nath Kovind will be NDA's candidate for the upcoming presidential election. The BJP Parliamentary Board, the party's highest decision-making body, took the decision on Monday.
एनडीए के प्रत्याशी के रूप में आज श्री राम नाथ कोविंद गवर्नर बिहार का नाम तय किया गया है। नामांकन की तिथि तो रामनाथ जी से चर्चा कर तय करेंगे, मगर बड़ी जो अभी सोच बनी है 23 तारीख को नामांकन होने की संभावना है।
Shah said the Prime Minister himself apprised Congress President Sonia Gandhi and former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh of the decision. He hoped all parties will support Kovind's candidature.
नाम तय करने से पहले भी हमने देश के सभी राजनीतिक दलों से चर्चा की है। आज नाम तय करने के बाद एनडीए के सभी साथियों को भी सूचना की भी गई है, सूचना हो भी रही है। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने स्वयं कांग्रेस अध्यक्षा श्रीमती सोनिया जी से बात की है।
Meanwhile, in a series of tweets, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed belief that Kovind will make an exceptional president and continue to be a strong voice for the poor, downtrodden and marginalized. 71-year-old Kovind is a Dalit leader from Kanpur Dihar district in Uttar Pradesh. He was a Rajya Sabha MP for 2 terms. Kovind is likely to file his papers for the presidential poll on June 23rd. The tenure of President Pranab Mukherjee ends on July 24th. The presidential election will be held on July 17th and the counting of votes will take place on July 20th. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, our correspondent Pranav Goswami joins us for a chat now for more on this. Well, Pranav, how did the BJP come to a conclusion of choosing Ram Nath Kovind as its candidate to be the next president?
In fact, Ram Nath Kovind's name came as a surprise for everyone. Even some members in the parliamentary board, they also didn't know that Ram Nath Kovind is going to be the presidential candidate from NDA. But it is seen as a master stroke because Ram Nath Kovind comes from a Dalit community, and the BJP is very optimistic that there will be a consensus among all parties, including opposition. But as far as opposition parties are concerned, they are saying that they'll be having a meeting on 22nd, and then they'll take a stance. They'll decide that who is going to be the presidential candidate from opposition parties. But as far as BJP is concerned, BJP said that they earlier had discussed with several political parties, and after the name of Ram Nath Kovind is been finalized from NDA, and now they'll be again discussing with the opposition parties, and they'll try to build up a consensus.
And as far as the parties within the NDA itself are concerned, what are the BJP's allies saying about Ram Nath Kovind's candidature?
As far as NDA allies are concerned, most of the parties have agreed. In fact, those parties, those who are not opposition parties, but they are not part of NDA, they have also agreed. TRS had made it very clear that they are going to support Ram Nath Kovind. Nitish Kumar also said that he is happy that Ram Nath Kovind, Bihar governor, has been NDA presidential candidate. But Nitish Kumar said that it will take some time to decide whether JDU will support Ram Nath Kovind's name. Mayawati also said that if opposition party does not decide a name from a Dalit community, then she can think of supporting Ram Nath Kovind. Other parties like AIA, DMK or BJD, they have not made it clear that whether they'll be supporting Ram Nath Kovind or not.
All right, Pranav Goswami, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us there with all those details. Well, moving on now, the opposition parties have expressed mixed reactions to the NDA's choice for the presidential elections. The Congress claimed that the BJP decision was unilateral. However, BSP chief Mayawati expressed support for Kovind's candidacy, although she expressed reservations about his ideological background. CPM leader Sitaram Yechuri called the choice a political decision, while Trinamool Congress chief Mamata Banerjee said there were other noted Dalit leaders. Meanwhile, opposition parties are meeting on June 22nd to discuss their options on the upcoming presidential elections.
ये ठीक है कि सरकार ने कुछ लीडरों को और हमारे कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट और मनमोहन सिंह जी को टेलीफोन पे बताया, लेकिन सिर्फ निर्णय करने के बाद सिर्फ नाम बताया। तो खाली वो तो निर्णय हो गया, तो उसमें आम सहमति की तो गुंजाइश रही नहीं।
उन्होंने कहा कि हम जब तय करेंगे फिर आपसे सलाह मशवरा करने आएंगे। आज टेलीफोन आता है उनसे ये कहते हुए कि उन्होंने तय कर लिया, तो सलाह मशवरा का गुंजाइश तो छोड़ा नहीं। उन्हीं का प्रस्ताव था कि पहले कि वो जब तय करेंगे फिर वापस आएंगे विपक्ष के पास सलाह मशवरा करने। अब विपक्ष के पास वापस नहीं आए, घोषणा कर दी उन्होंने।
अब अभी तो हम लोगों की भी बैठक होगी, सारे अपोजिशन की बैठक होगी, और जो उनकी तरफ से नाम अनाउंस हुआ उस पर, उसके बाद हम लोग भी बैठ के इस पर विचार करेंगे क्या करना क्या नहीं करना।
बीजेपी व इनके एनडीए ने अब इनको राष्ट्रपति पद के लिए अपना उम्मीदवार तय कर लिया है, तो ऐसी स्थिति में इनके दलित होने के नाते इनके प्रति हमारी पार्टी का स्टैंड नकारात्मक तो नहीं हो सकता है, अर्थात सकारात्मक ही रहेगा।
आदर्श रूप में संबंध होना चाहिए, उस प्रकार का संबंध उन्होंने निभाया। इस बात को हम सब हमेशा याद रखेंगे और ये प्रसन्नता की बात है।
The GST Council met for the 17th time on Sunday. In the meet, the Council decided to relax the deadline for filing of returns for businesses for the first 2 months following GST's rollout. The Council also set tax rates for lotteries and hotel rooms and categorically decided to implement the indirect tax regime from July 1st. Chairing the 17th GST meeting on Sunday, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley assured that the nationwide rollout of goods and services tax will take place on July 1st. Jaitley detailed 6 sets of rules that were cleared on advance ruling, appeal and revision, assessment, anti-profiteering and funds settlement. Jaitley said an 18% GST will be levied on AC hotel bills amounting between 2,500 to 7,500 rupees. Further, lotteries will be taxed in 2 segments, with state-run lotteries attracting 12% GST and private state-authorized lotteries at 28%.
हमने जो आज सहूलियत दी है कि अगस्त वाली के लिए आपके पास 2.5 महीने हैं, सितंबर वाली के लिए और 15 दिन एक्स्ट्रा हैं। ये इसीलिए दिया है कि लोगों का पहले 2 महीने में अभ्यास बन जाए और सिस्टम के ऊपर भी एकाएक ओवरलोडिंग ना हो।
However, in order to adapt to a new online filing system, the government has allowed companies to file late returns for July and August. The strict GST filing timetable will apply from September, with companies required to file complete sales returns by the 10th of the following month.
There will be further deliberations which will continue on the e-way bills rules, and after consultations, once consensus is reached and we formulate one opinion, we'll frame the rule. Till then, an alternate rule will operate.
But with the GST deadline approaching, markets are buzzing with pre-GST sales to sell off old stock. Special discounts are being offered in auto, jewelry, cosmetics and appliances. Tax on electronic appliances is currently 23%, but the implementation of GST will push it to 28%.
सर, कस्टमरों को जो हम डिस्काउंट दे रहे हैं अप टू 60% का डिस्काउंट दे रहे हैं, और रीज़न इसका ये है कि जीएसटी सेल है। मेरे पास काफ़ी सारा स्टॉक्स है जो कि मे बी मुझे जुलाई मंथ्स में इसका जो टैक्स है वो रिबेट ना मिले, और मेरे पास ओवर स्टॉकिंग है, तो उसे मैं यहाँ से मतलब कस्टमर को बेनिफिट मिले।
The next meet of the GST Council will be on June 30th, on the eve of the launch. A decision on e-way bill rules will also be taken by the Council at its next meeting. With Pranav Goswami, Panchanan Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television. The Gorkha Janmukti Morcha shutdown in Darjeeling entered the 8th day on Monday. Morcha supporters organized a protest rally over their Gorkha land demand. They also blocked National Highway 31A at some places to protest the death of 3 activists on Saturday. Security forces were on high alert and internet services still remain suspended. Police pickets and barricades have been placed in front of government and GTA offices and various entry-exit points. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee urged all parties to attend the all-party meeting on the situation in Darjeeling in Siliguri on June 22nd. Appealing for calm in the hills, she accused the GJM of hatching a conspiracy to divide the state.
আমরা সবাইকে অ্যাপিল করব শান্তি মেইনটেইন করার, শান্তি রক্ষা করা, গণতান্ত্রিক পদ্ধতিতে মিছিল মিটিং করা, আর গিয়ে জ্বালিয়ে দেওয়া, পুড়িয়ে দেওয়া, এটা তো ঠিক নয়। আমি শুনেছি ওখানে বাঙালি রিপোর্ট।
गोरखालैंड के लिए तो सबको बंद होना चाहिए, घर वो सब बंद होना चाहिए, दिन को भी रात होना चाहिए, तब जाके गोरखालैंड होगा। गोरखालैंड जब तक नहीं होगा, हम लोग का दार्जिलिंग ऐसा ही रहेगा।
Let's now take a look at some more developments from across the country and nationwide. The CBI team today questioned Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Jain's wife in connection with probe related to a money laundering case. According to reports, the Central Probe team sought clarifications on the allegations of money laundering against the minister. It is alleged that Jain was involved in money laundering to the tune of 4.63 crore rupees while being a public servant during 2015-16. Well, heavy rain lashed this morning in several parts of Delhi, bringing respite to people with heat wave. People faced heavy traffic in different areas of the city due to waterlogging. The minimum temperature dropped by 2 degrees as compared to yesterday to settle at 24 degrees, which is 4 notches below normal. The Met Office said that thunder showers and rain are likely to occur in some parts of the city during the next 24 hours. Samajwadi Party leader Gayatri Prajapati's bail in a rape case has caused quite a political storm, with reports claiming that the leader bribed his way out to get bail. Prajapati's bail was thanks to a conspiracy involving senior judges, and a sum of 10 crore rupees changed hands. Allahabad High Court Chief Justice had sought an inquiry into Prajapati's bail. The probe revealed high-level corruption in posting of judges to sensitive courts which handle cases of vicious crimes such as rape and murder. Indians flying abroad from July 1st will not be required to fill departure cards at all international airports. The move is aimed by the Union Home Ministry at ensuring hassle-free movement of Indians going abroad. The decision will help reducing the time required to complete immigration-related formalities by passengers and also enable airports and authorities concerned to cater to a larger number of people. Well, moving on to some international news now. Brexit Secretary David Davis arrived in Brussels on Monday to launch talks with the European Union. Ahead of the talks, Davis said that he hoped a new, deep and special partnership with the EU would be an outcome of the talks.
Brexit Secretary David Davis in Brussels to launch talks with the European Union. As Davis met EU's chief negotiator Michel Barnier, the veteran campaigner for Britain to quit the bloc said he hoped for a positive and constructive tone in the talks.
There's more that unites us than that divides us. So while there will undoubtedly be challenging times ahead of us in the negotiations, we will do all that we can to ensure that we deliver a deal that works in the best interests of all citizens. To that end, we're starting this negotiation in a positive and constructive tone, determined to build a strong and special partnership between ourselves and our European allies and friends for the future.
Contrasting David's upbeat demeanour, Barnier looked sombre as he hoped that the two sides would agree to a format and timetable soon. Barnier has in the past voiced impatience that Britain has taken nearly a year to open talks. He said his priority is to clear up the uncertainties.
Our objective is clear. We must first tackle the uncertainties caused by Brexit. First for citizens, but also for the beneficiaries of the EU policies and for the impact on borders, in particular Ireland. I hope that today we can identify priorities and a timetable.
Both sides, however, played down expectations for what can be achieved in one day. The EU and Britain have been at loggerheads since the UK voted to leave, with both having different views on how negotiations should be conducted.
The first day of the talks on Brexit, and I think the most important thing is that we should all start. Of course, there'll be lots of discussions about the nature of the deal we're going to do, but I think we should also, in the discussions about money and so on and so forth, but the most important thing I think now is for us to look to the horizon, raise our eyes to the horizon, think about the future, think about the new partnership, the deep and special partnership that we want to build with our friends, and I think in the long run this will be good for the UK and good for the rest of Europe. That's what we're hoping.
As positive as Johnson sounds, nothing about the future is clear. The negotiations are beginning almost a year after Britain's voted out, after Theresa May lost the majority that she had, and a slew of terror attacks in the country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, one person was killed and 10 others were injured on Monday when a man rammed a van into worshippers coming out of a mosque in North London's Finsbury Park. The attack comes during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan when Muslims were attending special prayers. The white van ploughed into pedestrians who were helping an elderly worshipper who collapsed in a crowded area. A man was pronounced dead at the scene while 8 others were injured. 2 others were treated for minor injuries. It is not clear if the death was directly linked to the attack. Bystanders detained the 48-year-old van driver who was later arrested. The attacker reportedly shouted slogans against Muslims. British Prime Minister Theresa May said the incident is being treated as a potential terrorist attack. It will be investigated by UK's Counter-Terrorism Command.
Well, the Prime Minister has rightly called a COBRA meeting, which she'll be chairing, and I'll be attend. My message to Londoners and those actually across the country is to be calm but vigilant. There will be an increased visible policing presence in London today, at and around mosques and places of worship.
The central government is not doing enough to protect the Muslims in terms of extreme right rise in terms of Islamophobia. So more should be done about it. But on the same time, we have to come down. Things should not be escalating. We shouldn't call for hatred. Hatred is something horrible. We are calling for love and peace, not for hatred.
In some more international news now, French President Emmanuel Macron's party has won a clear parliamentary majority, winning more than 300 seats in the 577-seat National Assembly. The victory is a second election triumph for Macron after his presidential victory, and the mandate is expected to allow Macron to embark on a deep social and economic reforms in the country.
A decisive victory for French President Emmanuel Macron's party. After Sunday's second round of parliamentary elections, Macron's party, La République En Marche, along with ally Modem, won more than 300 seats in the 577-seat National Assembly. Macron's party had won the first round of elections on 11th June.
Première fois sous la Ve République, l'Assemblée nationale sera profondément renouvelée, plus diverse, plus jeune, forte de parcours professionnels, associatifs et politiques variés.
Vous avez donné une majorité franche au président de la République et au gouvernement. Cette majorité aura une mission, agir pour la France. Par leur vote, les Français ont, dans leur grande majorité,
The results are a huge victory for Macron's party, which was formed just over a year ago, and half of its candidates have little or no political experience. The results come a week after Macron's own presidential victory. He had won without the support of a traditional mainstream party, convincingly over far-right candidate Marine Le Pen. However, opposition has pointed that turnout in the second round of parliamentary elections was too low, at just over 40%.
De son modèle social et de son identité. Si le gouvernement Macron dispose d'une très forte majorité à l'Assemblée, il doit savoir que ses idées sont parfaitement minoritaires dans le pays et que les Français ne soutiendront pas les projets d'affaiblissement.
Despite the low turnout, the comfortable victory of La République En Marche and Modem is a to the traditional parties on both the left and right. The result also gives the 39-year-old president a strong mandate in a parliament to pursue his pro-EU, business-friendly reform plans. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. An American warplane shot down a Syrian military aircraft that dropped bombs near US-led coalition fighters in western Raqqa on Sunday. A written statement from the US coalition in Iraq said US F-18 Super Hornet shot down a Syrian government Su-22 after it dropped bombs on soldiers from the Syrian Democratic Forces. Well, in apparent revenge to the Islamic State's attack in Tehran on June 7th, Iran's Revolutionary Guard launched missiles on eastern Syria targeting terrorists. It warned that it will similarly retaliate on anyone else carrying out attacks in the country. 5 Islamic State-linked attackers stormed Iran's parliament and a shrine to revolutionary leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini on June 7th, killing at least 17 people and injuring more than 50. 79 people are dead, missing or presumed dead after the devastating London Tower block blaze last week. 5 people have been identified so far. The police said that the toll from the Grenfell Tower blaze could still change. Boeing unveiled a new version of its 737 MAX jetliner as French President Emmanuel Macron opened the Paris Air Show on Monday. It had more than 240 orders and commitments from at least 10 customers for the new 737 MAX 10, which will carry up to 230 people in a single-class configuration. At least 26 people were injured when a China Eastern Airlines flight from Paris to Chinese city of Kunming hit turbulence on Sunday. The incident took place when flight MU744 was descending to land. Passengers suffered fractures when they were hit by overhead lockers and falling baggage. At least 4 are in a serious condition. Well, let's now shift focus and take a look at some developments from the world of sports in Sportsbeat. Well, the Ireland cricket team is in a close position to get their test match status by the ICC. The team has so far beaten the West Indies, England and Pakistan. In February, the International Cricket Body agreed to include Ireland and Afghanistan as additional full members. Swiss great Roger Federer is eager to get a win under his belt in the opening round of the Jerry Weber Open in Hall. Federer wants to prepare his bid for another tilt at the 8th Wimbledon crown. He, however, expressed no regrets about missing the French Open to focus, but added it was a move he was unlikely to repeat. Well, the Australian cricket team's vice-captain David Warner has expressed willingness to go without employment in order to achieve the retention of the fixed revenue percentage. The statement comes as the deadline for a new deal between Cricket Australia and the Australian Cricketers Association is going to end on June 30th. Well, that's it on this newscast. Have a good evening.